her room. He was crying.
Mama, did
you do it?
Did you try to kill Brother
Obina? Adaeze grabbed his shoulders, shaking him. I did it for you, you ungrateful boy. Don't you want to be king? Don't you want power? Ekena pulled away from her, looking at his mother with horror. Not like this, Mama. I never wanted this. He ran out of the room, leaving. They say that the insect that eats the vegetable is right inside the vegetable. My people, gather around. Today I bring you a story that will make your skin crawl and your heart beat faster. It is a story that proves that the finest clothes often cover the darkest hearts. We are going to the ancient kingdom of Umoji, a land so fertile that if you planted a dry stick in the ground at night, it would have leaves by morning. The king, Eze Ogu, was a good man. He was powerful like the lion, yet gentle like a dove. But Eze Ogu had a weakness. He could not see the evil sitting right next to him on the throne. Years ago, the king lost his first wife, the queen of his youth, a woman adored by all. Before she joined the ancestors, she gave him a son, Prince Obina. Obina was the spitting image of his mother. He had eyes that shone with kindness and a laugh that made the whole palace feel light. The villagers loved him. They knew that one day he would be a great king. But a palace cannot remain empty of a woman's touch for long. And that is when she arrived, Lolo Adaeze. She was stunning. Her skin was like polished mahogany. When she walked, it was as if the ground itself bowed to meet her feet. The king was captivated. He married her quickly, bringing her into the heart of the palace. Adaeze brought her own son into the marriage, a quiet boy named Ekena, just a year younger than Prince Obina. On the outside, Lolo Adaeze was the perfect queen. She smiled at the elders, she organized the festivals, and she spoke with honey in her voice. But our elders say, when a handshake goes beyond the elbow, it becomes something else. Inside, Adaeze was rotting with jealousy. Every time the villagers cheered for Prince Obina, it felt like a hot needle in her heart. Why should Obina be the heir? Why not her son Ekena? She looked at Obina not as his stepson, but as a weed standing in the way of her son's flower, and she decided the weed must be uprooted. At first, her wickedness was small, like tiny drops of water that eventually break a stone. Obina, being a respectful young man, welcomed Adaeze. He called her Mama. He tried to include his stepbrother Ekena in everything he did. Ekena, come, let us learn to wrestle. He pulled his younger brother along. But later that night, inside their chambers, Lolo Adaeze would grab his arm tightly. Why do you follow him like a dog? Do you not see? He's trying to make you look weak. He's the shadow that blocks your son. You are meant to be king, not that ghost of his dead mother. Poor Ekena was confused. He liked Obina, but he feared his mother more. Adaeze began her work. When the king complained of a headache, she would subtly suggest, perhaps it is the noise Prince Obina makes with his friends. When important artifacts went missing from the royal treasury, she ensured they were found near Obina's hut. But Obina's reputation was too strong. The king brushed these things off. He would say, boys will be boys, Eze Ogu would laugh. This only made her hatred burn hotter. She realized small tricks would not work. She needed something permanent. One night, during the New Yam festival, the kingdom's chief priest released a prophecy regarding the future king. Hear me, people of Umoji. The gods have spoken. The next king shall be he who has a heart pure enough to walk through fire without burning. Only the pure shall sit on the stool of Eze Ogu. The villagers cheered, believing this described Obina perfectly. but in the shadows, Lulu Adaeze smiled a terrible smile. Walk through fire. The gods are wise. If they want fire, I will give them fire. The ancestors do not sleep. They see everything. Prince Obina began to have dreams. In these dreams, he was standing in a beautiful garden, but every fruit he reached for turned to ash in his hands. Then his late mother appeared to him. She looked sad. My son, her spirit whispered, the python lies coiled in your bed. The hand that feeds you also holds the knife. Be careful of the food that tastes too sweet. Be careful of the smell that does not reach the eyes. Obina woke up sweating. He was a warrior, not afraid of swords or arrows, but this unseen enemy frightened him. He noticed changes in the palace. The servants whispered when he walked by. His stepmother's eyes would follow him, hard and cold like stones, only to melt into a fixed smile when the king entered the room. One day, Obina went to the village market. An old woman, bent double with age, grabbed his wrist with surprising strength. Her eyes were milky white. She was blind, yet she saw more than anyone. Prince, she croaked, the vulture is circling the palace roof. It is waiting for meat. Do not eat from the black pot tonight. Do you hear me? Do not eat from the black pot. Obina was shaking. He thanked the woman and returned to the palace, his heart heavy with suspicion. That evening, Lulu Adaeze prepared a special feast for the king and his sons. She claimed it was to celebrate the upcoming harvest. The air in the dining hall was thick. The king was jovial, drinking his palm wine. Lulu Adaeze herself served the food. She brought out a large steaming bowl of pounded yam and egusi soup, Obina's favorite. It was served in a beautiful black clay pot. Obina's stomach dropped. The old woman's words echoed in his ears. Do not eat from the black pot. Adaeze scooped a large portion for the king, then a large portion for her son, Ikena. Finally, she scooped the biggest portion with complete the sweetest pieces of meat for Obina. She placed the bowl in front of him. Her smile was tight. Eat, my son, she said, her voice trembling slightly. You need your strength for the hunting festival tomorrow. Obina looked at the food. It smelled delicious. His stomach rumbled. Was he just being paranoid? Was the old woman just a crazy beggar? His father was already eating. He picked up his spoon. Adaeze watched him, her breath held in her throat. Her eyes were fixed on that spoon. Obina lifted the spoon to his mouth. It was inches from his lips. Crash! A servant girl carrying a tray of water pots tripped near the doorway. The clay pot shattered loudly on the stone floor. Everyone jumped. In the confusion, Obina dropped his spoon back into the bowl. The king scolded the servant girl, but Obina felt a strange relief. He looked at his stepmother. For a split second, before she could hide it, he saw pure raw fury on her face that the servant had interrupted the moment. That look confirmed everything. Obina stood up. Father, forgive me. My stomach is unsettled tonight. I cannot eat. Lulu Adaeze stood up quickly. But Obina, I made this specially for you. Surely, a few bites will not hurt. Are you rejecting my kindness? She was trying to make him look ungrateful in front of the king. Just then, one of the king's favorite hunting dogs, a large mastiff, wandered into the dining hall, attracted by the smell of the food on the floor from the broken pots. The dog trotted over to where Obina sat. Before anyone could stop it, the dog licked a large dollop of the egusi soup that had splashed onto the table from Obina's bowl. The dog took 2 steps back. It let out a small whimper. Then it collapsed. Its body seized up. Foam appeared at its mouth, and within seconds, the large and healthy dog was dead, stone dead, on the palace floor. Silence fell over the dining hall, a silence so heavy it felt like it would crush them. The king slowly stood up. His eyes moved from the dead dog to the bowl of food in front of his son, Obina. Then his eyes turned to his wife, Lulu Adaeze. Eze Ogu's voice was barely a whisper, but it carried more power than a shout. Adaeze, what is this?
Adaeze threw herself on the floor, wailing dramatically. My king, someone is trying to poison us. The palace cooks, the enemies of the kingdom, they want to kill our precious prince. She pointed fingers at the terrified servants. Arrest them all. How dare they taint the food I served? But Obina spoke up, his voice calm and steady. You served the food, Lola Adaeze. You scooped from the pot. You gave father his share and the Kenas his share. Why did only the portion meant for me kill the dog? The king looked at his wife. For the first time, the scales fell from his eyes. He saw the sweat on her brow, the shifting of her eyes. God, the king roared. Lock Lolo Adaeze in her chambers. No one goes in, no one comes out. Tomorrow, we will visit the oracle. The gods will reveal the truth. That night, the palace was awake. Adaeze paced her room like a caged leopard. Her plan had failed. Her own son, Ikana, sneaked into her room. He was crying. Mama, did you do it? Did you try to kill Brother Obina? Adaeze grabbed his shoulders, shaking him. I did it for you, you ungrateful boy. Don't you want to be king? Don't you want power? Ikena pulled away from her, looking at his mother with horror. Not like this, Mama. I never wanted this. He ran out of the room, leaving her alone with her wickedness. The next morning, the entire village gathered at the palace courtyard. The chief priest arrived with the ayoko, the pot of truth. It was filled with a special water from the sacred stream. It was said that if a liar drank from it, their belly would swell and their skin would itch as if covered in ants, revealing their guilt for all to see. The king sat on his throne, his face stern. Prince Obina stood by his side. Lola Adaeze was brought out in shame. Adaeze, if your hands are clean, drink from the pot of truth and be free. If they are stained with the intent of murder, let the gods judge you. The village held its breath. The silence was so deep you could hear a leaf fall. Adaeze's hands trembled as she took the small calabash cup. She looked at the crowd. No one smiled at her. She looked at her son Ikena, who turned his face away in shame. She knew there was no escape. With shaking hands, she lifted the cup and drank. 1 second passed. 2 seconds. Suddenly, Adaeze screamed. She dropped the cup. She began to scratch her arms violently. My skin, it burns. Get it off me, she screamed, tearing at her expensive clothes. Her stomach began to bloat visibly beneath her wrapper. The crowd gasped and recoiled. The gods had spoken. Her outer beauty melted away, revealing the ugly, scratching, desperate woman beneath. The king stood up, his voice filled with sorrow and anger. Lolo Adaeze, you brought darkness into my home. You tried to kill my blood. You are hereby banished from the kingdom of Umujo forever. If you are seen within these borders again, your life is forfeit. Guards dragged the screaming, scratching woman out of the palace gate, never to be seen again. Prince Ikena walked up to Obina and knelt before him, weeping. Brother, forgive me. I was blind to her evil. Obina pulled his brother up and hugged him.
You are not your mother,
You are not your mother, Ikena. We are brothers. The kingdom returned to peace. The king, though heartbroken by the betrayal, was grateful his son was saved. Years later, when Eziogu joined his ancestors, Prince Obina was crowned king. He ruled with wisdom, kindness, and the strength he gained from surviving the fire. And his brother Ikena stood loyally by his side as his chief advisor.
Many rainy seasons passed. The boy, Obina, became King Obina. Under his reign, Umoji flourished. The yam barns were full. The rivers flowed with clean water. The people sang his praises. But our elders say, uneasy lies the head that wears the crown. Obina had everything except one thing, an heir. 5 years on the throne, and his wife, the beautiful Lolo Eneka, had not given birth. The palace was silent where the cry of a baby should be. And in the shadows, whispers began. In the market square, people muttered,
"A king without
a son
is like a
tree without roots. Who will rule when he is gone?
Perhaps the gods are angry.
Perhaps the gods are angry." Obinna felt the weight of these whispers. He grew thin. He could not sleep. One night, a strange wind blew through the palace windows. It was cold, unnaturally cold. It blew out all the lanterns in the king's chamber. King Obinna sat up in bed. "Who is there?" he demanded. From the corner of the room, a shadow moved. It was not a guard. It was not a servant. It was a large black bird, an owl with eyes as red as fire. It stared at the king, let out a screech that sounded like a human laugh, and flew away into the night. The next morning, King Obinna did not wake up. Panic gripped the kingdom. The king was breathing, but he was cold as stone. His eyes were closed tight. No healer could wake him. No drum could rouse him. The chief priest consulted the oracle and came back with a face full of fear. He stood before Ikena, Obinna's brother. Prince Ikena, the priest said, his voice shaking,
"This is no ordinary sickness.
This is witchcraft.
Someone from the past
has sent a spirit to steal the king's soul while he sleeps." The priest looked deep into Ikena's eyes. "Until the king wakes, you must sit on the throne. You must rule Umoji." Ikena trembled. He remembered his mother's wicked words from years ago. You are meant to be king.
Not that
Now,
ghost of his dead mother.
Without lifting a finger, the throne was his. For 7 market weeks, Ikena ruled as regent. He was fair. He was kind. The people began to love him too. Some elders began to whisper in his ear, "Ikena, perhaps this is destiny. Obinna is not dead, but he's not here. Maybe you should take the crown permanently." Ikena tried to ignore them, but the temptation was like sweet wine. One night, Ikena sat on the throne alone in the dark hall. He was staring at the royal staff. Suddenly, the doors of the palace creaked open. A figure walked in. She was covered in ragged, dirty clothes. Her hair was wild. Her skin was covered in sores. She smelt of the evil forest. Ikena gasped. He drew his sword. Halt! Who goes there? The figure lifted her head, and Ikena's blood turned to ice. It was his mother,
If you are seen
Lulu
within these
Adaizi,
borders again,
the banished woman.
your life is
She
forfeit.
did not look human anymore. She looked like a spirit of vengeance. My son. She rasped her voice, sounding like grinding stones. I have done it. I have cleared the way for you. Ikena stepped back. Mother, you are forbidden to be here.
You sent the owl?
You sent the
cursed
owl?
my brother?
You cursed my brother? Adaize laughed. A dry, crackling laugh. I did it for you.
He sleeps the sleep
He
of the
sleeps
dead.
the sleep
All
of
you
the
have to
dead.
do is
All
nothing.
you have to do
The cure.
is nothing.
Let him sleep.
Do not seek the
And
cure.
by the next
Let
new
him
moon,
sleep, and by the
he
next
will
new
join the
moon, he will
ancestors.
join the
You will
ancestors,
be king.
and you will be king. She reached out a bony hand. Take the crown, Ikena.
It is what we
It is what we always wanted. Ikena looked at the throne. He looked at the crown. Then he looked at the ragged, hateful woman who gave birth to him. He remembered Obinna's kindness. He remembered Obinna forgiving him when he didn't have to. Ikena's
You are
face
not your
hardened.
mother, Ikena.
No!
No!
He shouted it so loud, it shook the walls. No,
I am not
I am not you.
I am not a thief.
I am not a thief. He pointed his sword at her.
You
You
are
are
not
not
my
my mother. You are a monster. I will not take a crown stained with my brother's blood.
Stained with my brother's blood.
Adaize screamed in fury. You fool, then you will die with him. She lunged at him with a hidden dagger. Ikenna was younger and stronger. He dodged her attack and shoved her back. She fell, hitting her head against the stone steps of the throne. She lay there, still. Ikenna did not wait. He ran to the chief priest. The cure! Where is the cure?
Where is the cure?
The priest said, the only thing that can break a blood curse is an act of pure brotherly love. You must wash the king's feet with water from the stream, mixed with your own tears. Ikenna ran to his brother's chamber. He knelt by the bed. He wept. He cried for the mother he lost to evil. He cried for the brother he almost lost. His tears fell into the bowl of water. He washed Obina's cold feet. Wake up, brother. The throne is yours. I do not want it. I only want my brother. Suddenly, the king gasped. Obina's eyes flew open. The color returned to his skin. He sat up, coughing. Ikenna hugged him, holding him tight. The curse was broken, not by magic, but by loyalty. Lolo Adaize was gone, her wickedness finally consuming her. King Obina ruled for 50 years. And do you know who sat beside him every single day? His brother, Ikenna. And the gods blessed them. The following year, Lolo Eneka gave birth to twins.
My people, this story teaches us a powerful lesson. Jealousy is a fire that consumes the one who lit it. Adaize dug a deep pit for Obina, but in the end, she was the one who fell into it. Whatever you do in the dark, remember that the eyes of the ancestors are always watching. Be careful the seeds you plant today, for you will surely eat the fruit tomorrow. This is the end of my story. If you enjoyed it, do not forget to like this video and subscribe to Ubi's Folklore. Until next time, may your path be free of hidden traps.